Baby, I have a great idea. Let's get married.
But we haven't known each other but 3 months.
But we love each other.
Okay, you're right. Let's do it.
Hi, y'all. Easy Slider here. Problems. How did you get into this mess? I know I've heard you say you love her, and I've heard her say she loved you, so what happened? Did you think this out before you got married? I doubt it. Well, this one thing is very important you need to know before you marry a Filipino. Do you know what it is? This one thing can cause you problems if anything goes wrong with your marriage. Maybe you guessed it, you're pretty smart. Prenuptial agreement, right? That's a good guess, but no. Could be a good idea, but today it's not the answer we're looking for. We all know there's many things that rank high in importance in a marriage, of course. But today we're going to look at two things. We're going to look at the number one thing that you need to be thinking about, and then we're going to take a look at why it's important. Knowing one without the other is kind of like owning a car but not having the keys. In other words, you need to know the number one thing, and you need to understand why. Now, I want to start by getting you into a frame of mind, get you thinking in one direction. So I'm going to ask you a question, then I'm going to tell you why I asked that question. The question I want to ask you is, have you ever been married? And then, did it last? Now, I ask this question because divorce rates in the United Kingdom and Canada and the United States is reasonably high. In these countries, if a marriage goes south, it's easy to get out of the marriage, and a lot of people do. Okay, I guess maybe the cat's out of the bag, okay? I feel the number one most important thing to think about before you get married are your thoughts on divorce. Wait. Let's talk about why. Don't leave me yet. Why do I think this is so important? Well, when you marry a Filipino, it's not the same as marrying someone from the UK or Canada or the United States. So we need to get to the reason why, but before we do, let's go and get a little more understanding. Now stick with me, be patient, because this is going to be of value to you. Marrying a Filipino, there's a lot more to it than just union of the hearts. It's a marriage of cultures and value and traditions. It just spans oceans, okay? Before you say I do, one of the most vital considerations isn't the fact that you love her. You follow me? Sure, it's important, of course, but it's understanding the deep-rooted concept of family and how does that family intertwine with you and your future. The family is the foundation of the Philippine life. Decisions from where you're going to live to how you're going to spend your holidays, and even neighbors that you might be treated like your relatives even though they're not. The question you must understand fully is, are you ready to embrace this tightly knit web of relationships, this respect, this tradition, and can you balance them with your own cultural norms? Very important. Now, I cannot express how important this is before you get married. If you're not sure you need to think about it a little bit more, don't get married just yet. Give it time. Make sure you can handle everything fully. Remember, I said divorce is one of the most important things to consider. And now let's get into the why it is, why it's like that. Marrying a Filipino is not, and I repeat, not like marrying someone in the UK or Canada or the United States. The reason why this is so important to consider is because things don't work the same. There is no divorce in the Philippines. Yeah, you heard me right. There is no divorce. They have a saying. The saying is, once married, always married. Now, in all fairness, they do have annulments, but if you think it's easy, quick, or even cheap, boy, have you got a surprise coming. It's none of those. So once married, always married. Or, is that true? This is a topic that can be very confusing. Now, I've heard this topic discussed a lot, and the outcome has always been not that clear. Some say that once married, always married, while others say there's a way you can get a divorce in the Philippines if you're married in your country, but not if you're married in the Philippines, I don't believe. Recently, I posted this video that you're watching now, and I have received some information from one of my viewers that had a different view. Now, his view and my view were different, but I guess I have to say that neither one of us had any legal backgrounds. I don't think he did. And so it reverts back to talking to someone that has that legal background. But it was clear to me that I needed to look into this a little bit more, and I didn't want to give anybody any bad information. So I pulled the video down, did a little bit of revision to it, and now you're seeing the revised version. And mostly what you're seeing is that's revised is me getting a little deeper into how complicated it can be and why it's so very important you do talk to a lawyer in the Philippines. It's confusing and it's complicated, and like I say, without a doubt, you need to discuss this with a lawyer in the Philippines. If you do discuss it with a lawyer in the Philippines, it could avoid a lot of confusion, a lot of misleading expectations later. Because it's like I said, it's a confusing topic, and it has to do with you living in one country or the other country. It has to do with whether you're a Filipino citizen or whether you're a U.S. citizen or whether you're a dual citizen. You can see it just goes in a bunch of different directions. And so this is something you need to think about before you get married. Now, wait a second. I'm going to tell you something. There's this little secret that the girls use. I have to be quiet. I don't want my wife to hear me. So, hang with me for that, okay? Now, you can see the reason that I'm saying that this is worth thinking about. So, make sure that you feel like the girl that you're going to marry is definitely the girl for you. Because she could be your last. You might think, but I got married in my country. Well, you remember I was talking about that. That it's very confusing. Now, do you remember I mentioned there's a secret that Filipino women use? Well, get ready. Most of the women, after they get married, send a notice back to the Philippines with a copy of your marriage license showing you're married. That's where the Philippine government can register the fact that you are married. And yeah, you got it now. You're married in the Philippines. Yeah, she wants to make sure that you are considered married there. See how confusing things can get in a hurry? Now, if you have any doubt the marriage might not last, then be prepared for what might be a confusing answer as you get into this. In all fairness, I want to say Filipino women make awesome wives. It can easily be the best move you ever made, but just understand, you need to know the laws and make sure before you get married, make sure 100% sure she's the one. Now, don't forget to subscribe. Check out the other things that may maybe these Filipino women from the Pearl of the Orient don't mention to you. See y'all later.